every month I put up a poll on my Discord so that people can vote on the next fighting game that I'll play in the upcoming month. For November, while I usually just put a bunch of games into like a random list generator and things like that from the list of games people have recommended for me to play on stream, I decided to stray from the path a little bit and put a game that I personally wanted to play again. Now, it was going to have some tough competition in the sense that it was up against Melee, which had lost pretty much every single poll before now, right? This month's poll of December, it finally won. But since, May, it's been losing, and it's been slowly gaining more and more traction, and I felt like it was about time that it was going to win. And another game which is pretty popular. The game I decided to put in there kind of for shits and giggles, for the sake of me replaying something that I had lost, was Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And to my surprise, it won. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was a game that I played a lot when it first came out. Me and my friend would sit down for hours in my room and just run set after set after set after set, trying out new characters and new team combinations, or just kind of trying to perfect the teams we thought were the coolest. I remember that I was kind of upset a little bit because the first team that he picked, he had Spider-Man on, and I'm a big Spider-Man fan, and I wanted to play Spider-Man, but I didn't want us to both play Spider-Man because that'd be weird, and that's his character because he already picked it, and who wants to do mirror matches all the time? So I played somebody else. I settled on Gamora Strider, and it was pretty dope. It was really fun. I had no idea what I was doing, but the game was a lot of fun. And now that it had won again, I got a chance to, discover myself again in that game and really see why I loved that game so much in the first place. So, I played Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite from bottom to top-ish, because I'm not very good at the game still, but from scratch we really learned how to play the game, and we spent the entirety of November playing it. This is my retrospective on what happened that month. The first week was pretty clean. We, did a slight tutorial on our channel, my channel, but the tutorial for the game wasn't super great. Like, it was okay, it wasn't bad, but there's definitely things that I wanted it to teach me that it didn't teach me. I had to go out of my way to learn for myself, and so that means that the first day of streaming, which was just me going through the tutorial and then doing a bit of labbing, just trying to find out what characters I wanted to play, and doing a bit of the mission mode, wasn't super great. I wanted it to be more straightforward. I wanted to learn the game and be able to teach people the game pretty quickly, but I found out that soon enough this would not be possible. But everything was fine, right? We continued on, and the rest of the week we ended up playing a bunch of different characters, and I eventually settled on Venom Ghost Rider as my first team because they're cool. Although I went back to Gamora Strider for a little bit and realized that Gamora is really fun and cool, but something about the characters made me feel like I didn't have what it takes to fully use the character to its best capacity. And I'm the type of person that if I feel like my skill level won't reach this, the relative ceiling of that character for some time, I probably won't play them, because I know I can't devote as much time to the game as that character would need me to. So I decided to play something else. And then I tried playing Strider again, and I couldn't stand it. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what it was about it, but I just didn't like it. And then Venom Ghost Rider showed up. Venom I'd played a little bit before, and it was really fun. The voice grew on me. Now we'll eat you. Yep, I did that, and it was fun. And Ghost Rider's just cool. I just think Ghost Rider's a super cool character, and they're both pretty straightforward, and their combos were stuff that I could understand. So we picked that team. We started doing some combo and labbing practice, and then I played a whole bunch of matches with my buddy Blue Speeder MC, who picked Maverick Hunters. So X and Zero from the Mega Man series, and oh gee boy golly, was that incredibly annoying to play against all the time. And it's not even his fault. Like he's just playing characters that he likes. But those characters, well, Zero happens to be quite good. X also isn't. I don't think X is a bad character, but I also think that Zero is a character that punishes unskilled players very heavily. And his team was one that I think punished unskilled players pretty heavily, in the sense of he had bust out supers, so if I did unsafe things, he could just call me out, and it's been a bar. And although his play wasn't efficient, it was effective because we were both at a low skill level, so I couldn't capitalize on his inefficiency while he could fully capitalize on my ability of being bad. So that was something that I had to learn the hard way, of being safe and playing cautiously and getting crossed up. Oh boy, I do not like the fuzzy guard in this game, or the sense of the proximity guard, better said, that I feel like it just jails me for the longest time. In this game, you cannot stand still, and I got crossed up all the time because I played too passive, and I just let him jump at me and let him get on the other side of me when I should have been proactive. And now I am, and we'll get to that a little bit later, but it was really fun, even while I was baby raging a little bit, because that's a game that you just kind of die after you make one or two mistakes, and that leads it to be a little frustrating, especially when you're beginning out. But week 2 came along, and it was more of the same. I still got eaten alive by cross-ups. We hadn't learned our lessons yet, and Blue was just perfecting and getting exponentially better at confirming and doing long extended combos and being efficient with meter and all this other stuff. Although they still have their bad habits and tendencies, I again wasn't in a place where I could really capitalize off them. I was only really playing on stream, and didn't really practice off stream too much, and not like that's an excuse because I'm just bad, but it sure didn't help. However, although I was, getting destroyed left and right, the game was still super fun. We played like almost 80, 70 games every stream, straight up, just back to back, without break. And with every loss and every win, we'd have our ups and downs, but we still wanted to keep playing. We still enjoyed the game. And I enjoyed the game so much that I decided to host a tournament. I've never hosted a tournament in my life, and I told myself I would never do it because it seems like a pain. And it was. But again, we'll get to that a little later. I started thinking about doing a tournament. I asked Blue if they wanted to host it with me, and they said, sure, we'll see what I can do, because they were already hosting a tournament, but I said if anything, I'd do it on my own if I had to. But thankfully, I didn't have to do it all on my own. Someone in chat pointed me in the direction of this tournament that's done weekly called the Gauntlet for Marvel's Capcom Infinite, the self-proclaimed best tournament in the world for MVCI, and you know what? I think so too. They pointed me in that direction. Turns out the next day that after I announced I wanted to do a tourney, they said, hey, or not even they said, but the person that pointed me towards them said they have a tournament the next day. I went, watched their tournament, and I fell in love all over again with the game. Like, their production value was really good, and I really enjoyed how their stream ran and what they did, and there was gags, and the commentators were fun, and the gameplay was really cool because these were high-level players. But most importantly, I was able to talk to someone who was running the tournament and ask them for advice, ask them for help, ask them for guidance, and they were more than happy to help me. So I want to take a brief second here to lend a very big thank you to Cataclysm and Don and all those other at the Gauntlet that helped me make this tournament a reality, because I don't know if I would have been able to do that completely on my own. I'll leave links to everybody that I've mentioned in the description. Please be sure to check them out. You'll probably see me there as well. But yeah, I joined their Discord, and that's how I got in touch with some of them, and I watched the tournament, and not only were the people running things very kind and nice, but in general, people seemed pretty cool, right? They're always asking for games and talking to each other advice. Did they talk smack? Of course they did, but that's just kind of how a community bonds sometimes, especially over fighting games. You have to proclaim that their character's broken, because if not, then that just means you suck, and no one wants to admit that. And as good as week 2 was going, the next part is a little tough for me to talk about, because thanks to a sexy beast in chat that had to be sarcastic and proclaim that they were so glad this game only had 4 characters because they really admire simplicity, I was forced, in the name of content and entertainment, to make a sacrifice. I swapped teams. In the middle of learning Ghost Rider Venom, I swapped to Widow Monster Hunter. Both, I triple, quadrupled the intensity of my characters, because though Monster Hunter and Widow are not anywhere near as simple as Ghost Rider and Venom. They have just more complex inputs when it comes to combos and game plan and, set play. And that's to say, at least initially for me, right, the way that I understood the characters. Their combos required more from me in the terms of execution as well. So this next part I like to call the Age of Blue, because it was just days of me getting slaughtered. Things of like 50 game win streaks. I'd be lucky to break double digits. I'd be lucky to get more than 5 on some days. And it was tough. It was definitely tough. And Blue just kept getting better, right? And although I could make improvements, it's still, a game where a few mistakes cost you, right? And the times where I would get some sort of edge up, I would drop the combo because I was just inexperienced with the characters. So that made it that much harder to actually win, because Blue did hardly ever drop the combos because they were just used to playing the same characters for 3 weeks. Speaking of which, week 3, I continued to get whopped. My new team had been fun to play, but not very lucrative in terms of wins. But my sorrows were quickly cut when I had to host a tournament for the first time, which was incredibly stressful and exciting all at the same time. I was looking forward to meeting new people. I had gone to Reddit and in a Discord for the Gauntlet, and I posted on Sajam's Discord as well, and I just asked, hey, does anybody want to play in this tournament? And although I kind of slinked away from promoting in some places because I felt like I wasn't getting any traction, we ended up getting about 16 people, I think, or maybe 12, around there. More than I expected to. A happy number, actually. It was a beginner/intermediate level tournament, right? So it's not like I expected all these great people that I'd been watching in the Gauntlet to show up, because they were just gonna slaughter everybody, and I wanted something for people like my skill level to go in there, have a good time, have a chance at the spotlight when normally they wouldn't be able to, right? Give the lower tier players their spot in the sun. I got bodied in the tournament, but that's probably for the best because I had to run it. I did the bracket by myself. Commentating, thankfully, I didn't have to do myself. Thank you, Erebus, for getting in there and commentating with me. We were actually the first streamed match. It was both commentators playing against each other, and we just thought it was the best way to breaking the ice, and it was pretty fun. And Erebus went all the way to Winners Grand Finals. So I'm not really upset about that. Well, they came in from loser's side, and the person who eventually took home everything was a player named Rage Quit Maker, which I will never forget because I did a small introductory poll for the tournament where I asked, what's your Steam, what's your Discord, what characters do you like to play, stuff like introductory like that. I was going to use it info for the commentators to be able to, talk about, oh, well, this player usually plays this team with this stone, so maybe they might have an edge against this player's team, which is what they usually play. We'll see if they bring out something new. We ended up not using any of that because it was a lot more hectic than I expected, and I didn't have time to pull up the sheets, and it was a pretty messy, scuffed tournament overall. But I'm prepared for next time, quote unquote. Wink wonk, next time. Anyways, I lost to Erebus. Lost my loser's game, got to focus on just commentating and running the tournament, which is for the best because the initial parts of the tournament were, like I said, scuffed. People didn't know who to play against and when to play against and what was going to be on stream, what was going to not be on stream. It was pretty messy overall, but I was a one-man show. And, people didn't hesitate to tell me that it was messy and there was a problem. And I'm not really upset about that because at the end of the day, I still ran a tournament. I still did it by myself. I still thought it was pretty fun. I thought everybody who participated had quite a bit of fun. I made some cool new friends, people that I would have never had a chance to meet otherwise. And I'm looking forward to potentially doing it again, right? Learning from my mistakes. Again, thank you, Cataclysm, because I talked to them afterwards, and told them, shared my thoughts, and they offered some more kind words and advice. So they even encouraged me to keep doing it. They said that they would help going forward, at least, with advice and things like that. So it's nice to know that I have someone on my side if I decide to really do this. Back to Rage Quit Maker, I realized that I think I forgot to mention the whole reason that I brought them up in the first place. Congratulations, by the way. There's actually one last thing in the agreement before you sign up for the tournament, and it was the section that was the Be Cool agreement. Essentially, it's talking about be respectful, you know, don't be a dickhead while you're playing. That could, if you're rude or, you know, kind of an asshat, you could lose the privileges to play for the rest of the tournament and future tournaments that I run, period, right? It's just something I wanted to get out of the way. I wanted everybody to have a good time. I wanted everybody to learn. I wanted people to feel like they could grow and not be judged for it, right? Rage Quit Maker, instead of typing yes, which is all you need to do is type yes in a box. They kindly let me know that they were going to play, this is paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact words, they were going to play how they usually play. That they are, I think they said that they're bad and they still use auto combos. So don't lose to me. And that was hilarious, especially now looking back on it, because they won the tournament pretty freely. And they even had an exhibition match on the Gauntlet channel. I see you, hater. And they won their best of 10 as well. They're in no means a bad player. So I don't think they were giving themselves enough credit. But either way, I thought that was great. I had a great experience. And I wouldn't trade it away for anything, even the stress, right? After the tournament, we came up on week 4, which was cut short a little bit due to Thanksgiving break. I had some things I needed to do, so I couldn't really stream 2 days of MVCI. I only got to stream to 1. So me and Blue got together one last time to run a few sets before I would put the game away, at least on stream. Friday I might play it tomorrow. You don't know what day I'm recording this on, but that's okay. And it was fun. It was kind of sad knowing that I wouldn't log on to play this game again with them on stream anytime soon. And honestly, I haven't gotten a chance to really play since that day just because I've been doing so much other stuff, including this. But I played with my new team, did a little better, switched back to my old team, did a lot better. I think if I would have just played Venom Ghost Rider the whole time, I would have grown a lot, and I would have been pretty much 50-50 against Blue's team. If not, if I specifically learned just how to be able to keep them away from me, I think I might even have been favored, right, in that matchup. But who cares, right? I play the teams that I like to play. I did it for the stream. I think everybody had a good time watching it. And I'm really happy that I got to experience this game again. And I'm really glad that I finally was able to apply and find an answer to cross-ups. Papa bless, because I would have actually lost my mind otherwise. That's pretty much it. If you made it all the way through, thanks for listening to me. I really appreciate it. Hope to see you the next time. Peace out.
Now X. Beep. Beep. Beep.
Oh, I couldn't.
Oh, I have the armor on still. The model doesn't change. I can't tell. No hockey blades for you. Oh God!
You didn't know about my wheelie move. Oh my God, are you serious?